There is no greater frustration for a man than sensing that the woman he once shared deep, meaningful moments with is slowly slipping away. At first, everything felt effortless. She was eager to see you, her messages were frequent and filled with excitement, and she made you feel like the center of her world. Her energy was magnetic, she was fully engaged, deeply invested, and happy to be in your presence. But now, something has changed. She has grown colder. The warmth in her eyes that once reassured you is now distant. Conversations feel strained, as if she's responding out of obligation rather than genuine interest. The laughter that once filled your moments together has been replaced by indifference. She used to reach for your hand without thinking. Now, she barely makes eye contact. It's a slow, painful shift, but make no mistake, it's happening. And here's what you need to understand. Women don't leave a relationship suddenly. They don't wake up one morning and decide to walk away. Their departure is gradual. Their emotional connection weakens over time. Their heart detaches long before their body ever does. The problem? Most men don't see it coming. They assume she's just going through a phase. They tell themselves, maybe she's just stressed, or she'll come around. But what they fail to realize is that every moment of detachment is a silent message. A message that says, I'm not as invested as I used to be. By the time most men finally acknowledge that something is wrong, it's often too late. She's already emotionally gone, but a high-value man does not ignore the signs. He pays attention to the shifts in energy. He accepts reality instead of living in denial. And most importantly, he chooses his response wisely. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I'll walk you through the clear warning signs that a woman is no longer invested in your relationship. You'll understand why it happens, and more importantly, how to respond like a man who values himself. Because here's the truth. The moment you start chasing her as she pulls away, you've already lost. The key is not to beg, not to force, but to recognize when to step back and reclaim your power. Before we dive in, take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment below. I want you to type, I choose self-respect in the comments right now if you're ready to take back control of your life. Now let's begin. The first and most obvious sign that a woman is losing interest is a noticeable decline in both emotional and physical connection, the very foundation of any strong relationship. Think back to the early days of your relationship. How did she behave? She was eager to see you, her eyes lit up when you entered the room, and she found joy in the smallest moments you shared. She initiated conversations, sought your attention, and made it clear that you were important to her. She wanted to hold your hand, sit close to you, and share every little detail of her day. When she laughed at your jokes, it was genuine. When she touched you, it was effortless, filled with warmth and connection. But now, something feels off. She rarely initiates conversations. If she responds at all, her messages are short, cold, and lack enthusiasm. You feel like you're forcing interactions while she seems uninterested, distracted, or emotionally unavailable. Physical intimacy has diminished. Hugs are brief, kisses feel obligatory, and intimate moments have either become rare or entirely non-existent. She no longer laughs at your jokes or engages in deep conversations with the same enthusiasm. At first, you tell yourself, maybe she's just busy, maybe she's stressed, maybe it's just a phase. But deep down, you know it's not just a phase. Why does this happen? A woman's emotional and physical disconnection does not happen overnight. It's usually a gradual process, one that many men fail to recognize until it's too late. Here's what you need to understand. When a woman loves and respects you, she naturally desires closeness. She wants to be around you, to talk to you, to connect with you on every level. But when that emotional desire fades, her investment in the relationship weakens. So what causes this shift? There are three primary reasons why a woman may start pulling away. 1. She feels unheard or unappreciated. Women thrive on emotional connection. If she feels like her efforts, emotions, or concerns have been ignored over time, her excitement for the relationship will start to fade. 2. She is emotionally invested in someone else. If another man is giving her the emotional connection she craves, one that she feels is missing in your relationship, her attachment to you will weaken. She may not have cheated physically, but emotionally, she's already drifting away. 3. She no longer sees you as the man she once admired. This is the hardest pill to swallow, but it's also the most crucial. A woman falls in love with a man she admires and respects. If she starts seeing weakness, desperation, or a lack of ambition, she will slowly lose attraction. What should you do? A weak man reacts with desperation. He begs for her attention, chases harder, and tries to force affection back into the relationship, only to push her further away. A strong man, on the other hand, does the opposite. He observes the shift, accepts reality, and adjusts his behavior accordingly. Instead of clinging to someone who is detaching, he mirrors her energy. If she stops chasing him, he does not chase her. If she pulls back, he pulls back even further. This is not about playing games, it's about self-respect. Here's what you must understand: the moment you chase, you lose. A woman who truly values you will notice the shift when you stop over-investing. If she still cares, she will adjust her behavior and reconnect. But if she has already checked out emotionally, no amount of begging, fixing, or chasing will bring her back. And that's when you must prepare for your next move, because a man who values himself does not beg for love, he attracts it by standing firm in his worth. 2. Indifference, the silent death of a relationship. Among all the warning signs that a woman is losing interest, indifference is the most painful and revealing. A woman who still cares, whether she's happy, frustrated, or even angry, is still emotionally invested. She will argue, question things, and express her feelings because, deep down, she still wants to make the relationship work. But when she stops caring altogether, that's when you know you've truly lost her. The absence of emotion is far more dangerous than the presence of anger. When a woman becomes indifferent, it means she has emotionally detached from the relationship, and in most cases, she is already preparing her exit, whether she realizes it or not. How indifference manifests in a relationship. At first, the signs may seem subtle, but if you pay attention, you'll notice the drastic shift in her behavior. She no longer gets upset when you're distant. Where she once craved your attention and affection, now she doesn't even seem to notice when you withdraw. She doesn't ask about your day, your feelings, or your plans, as if your presence or absence makes no difference in her life. She stops putting effort into fixing arguments. Before, she would engage, explain her side, or even try to resolve conflicts. Now, she just lets things slide without a fight. She no longer shows jealousy or concern. If you go out with friends and don't tell her, she doesn't ask. If another woman shows interest in you, she doesn't react, because deep down, she no longer sees you as hers. At first, you may mistake her silence for peace, thinking, "At least we're not arguing." But in reality, silence is the most dangerous place to be in a relationship. A woman who is still emotionally engaged will argue, explain, and even express frustration. She will still fight for the connection, even if it's messy. But when she stops reacting, that's when her heart has already left. Why does this happen? A woman does not become indifferent overnight. It happens gradually, after months or even years of feeling unheard, unappreciated, or disconnected. Here's the truth. Women do not leave when they're unhappy. They leave when they believe things will never change. If she has expressed her concerns multiple times and feels ignored, or if she has emotionally checked out of the relationship due to neglect, boredom, or lack of excitement, then her heart has already begun to drift. What most men do wrong. When faced with a woman's indifference, most men make the critical mistake of desperation. They plead with her to communicate. They send long emotional messages asking what's wrong, begging for an answer, but receive nothing but cold, detached responses in return. They overcompensate by trying to be extra romantic, buying gifts, planning dates, hoping that grand gestures will reignite the spark. They chase harder, thinking that more effort, more attention, and more affection will bring back the woman they once had. But here's the harsh reality. The more you chase, the more she will pull away. Why? Because desperation kills attraction. A woman who has already mentally left the relationship does not want a desperate man trying to force things back to how they were. She wants a man who understands his own worth, a man who will not beg for her attention, but instead recognize when it's time to walk away. What you should do instead. When a woman becomes indifferent, the most powerful response is not to fight for her attention, but to pull back completely. Stop chasing. Let her feel the space created by your absence. If she truly cares, she will notice and begin to bridge the gap herself. Shift your focus back to yourself. Instead of pouring all your energy into fixing the relationship, invest in your purpose, your growth, and your value as a man. Do not seek validation. If she has emotionally checked out, no amount of effort will change her mind. Only her own realization can. If she still has feelings for you, she will sense the shift in your energy and come back with effort. But if she remains indifferent, then she has already left the relationship in her heart. And it's only a matter of time before she physically walks away. And as a man, you must be strong enough to let her go. Because a high-value man never begs for a woman's love. He attracts it by being a man of value, purpose, and unshakable self-respect. 3. The energy shift. When her excitement is no longer for you. One of the most undeniable signs that a woman has emotionally checked out of your relationship is when her enthusiasm, joy, and excitement are directed everywhere, except toward you. Women are deeply emotional beings. When they are genuinely invested in a man, their energy reflects it. They are eager to spend time with him. They light up when they talk to him. They express affection, warmth, and a deep sense of connection. But when that energy disappears from your relationship, it doesn't vanish into thin air. It gets redirected elsewhere. How the energy shift looks. At first, it might seem like she's just busy or stressed, but over time, you'll start noticing consistent behavior patterns that point to emotional detachment. She's excited about everything except you. She looks forward to nights out with friends, new hobbies, social events, and even long work days, but when it comes to spending time with you, she's uninterested, unenthusiastic, or makes excuses. She's highly engaged on social media, but barely responds to you. She has time to scroll for hours, post updates, and reply instantly to others. But when it comes to your messages, you're met with short, delayed, or unenthusiastic responses. She suddenly has new priorities that exclude you, whether it's a new fitness routine, a new group of friends, or new personal interests. You notice that she is actively building a life that no longer includes you as a priority. This shift is not accidental. It's a sign that she no longer sees the relationship as something that excites or fulfills her. What this really means, most men, when they see this happening, try to justify her behavior. Maybe she's just busy. Maybe I need to try harder to win her attention. Maybe she's just going through something. But here's the harsh truth. A woman does not withdraw her energy for no reason. If she has stopped investing her emotional energy into you, it means she is redirecting it somewhere else, and that somewhere could be a new passion or purpose that has become more important than your relationship. A different version of herself that no longer aligns with who you are. Another man who is now occupying the space she once reserved for you. Most men think that when a woman starts pulling away, she is unsure of what she wants. But the truth? She is already making her decision, she just hasn't told you yet. What most men do wrong. When men feel this shift, their first instinct is to chase harder. They try to force quality time, hoping to reignite the spark. They initiate deep conversations asking what's wrong, only to be met with vague or indifferent responses. They become more affectionate, more available, and more accommodating, thinking that being a better boyfriend will remind her of what they once had. But none of this works. Why? Because attraction cannot be negotiated. If she is withdrawing, it means she already feels emotionally disconnected, and desperation will only make her lose more respect for you. The right response: protect your value. Instead of asking, why is she doing this? Ask yourself, why am I tolerating this? The moment you realize that a woman reserves her excitement for everyone except you, you have two options. 1. Have an honest conversation. If she is truly just going through a rough patch, then discussing your concerns openly might help. But if she responds with indifference, defensiveness, or avoidance, you have your answer. She is already emotionally checked out. 2. Recognize the reality and move on. If her behavior has consistently shown that she no longer values the relationship, then the strongest thing you can do as a man is accept it, reclaim your dignity, and walk away. Either way, a man who values himself does not tolerate being treated as an afterthought. At the end of the day, you should never have to beg for someone's excitement, affection, or attention. A high-value man understands that his time and energy are too valuable to waste on someone who has already mentally left the relationship. The power move: when to walk away with strength. There is one truth in relationships that many men struggle to accept. You cannot force a woman to love you. When a woman starts to withdraw, when her energy shifts, when her enthusiasm fades, most men panic. They see the signs and react emotionally, pleading, chasing, trying to convince her to stay. But here's the reality: no woman has ever fallen back in love because a man begged for her attention. Why walking away is the most powerful move. If a woman begins to treat you like an afterthought, the strongest response is not anger, frustration, or desperation. The strongest response is to walk away with self-respect. Walking away is not an emotional reaction. It is not a game. It is a statement that says, I am a man of value. I will not chase someone who does not see my worth. This is the moment where Stoic wisdom becomes your greatest weapon. The Stoic mindset: control what you can, release what you can't. The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. Love, attraction, and emotional connection are not within your control. You cannot control whether a woman still feels the same way about you. You cannot control her level of interest. You cannot force her to value you the way she once did. But what can you control? Your response, your self-respect, your ability to walk away when you are no longer valued. What most men do versus what a high-value man does. When men sense that a woman is losing interest, most of them make the same critical mistakes. They plead for answers. What's wrong? Why are you acting differently? They chase harder. buying gifts, planning surprises, becoming extra affectionate, hoping to fix things. They sacrifice their dignity, accepting disrespect, tolerating emotional distance, and lowering their standards just to keep her around. But a high-value man does the opposite. He does not chase. He recognizes that love should be freely given, not begged for. He does not argue for his worth. If she cannot see his value, then she is not the right woman for him. He does not lower himself. He prioritizes his peace over temporary emotional attachment. The power of distance and detachment. The strongest move you can make when a woman begins to lose interest is to mirror her energy and create distance. If she pulls away, you pull back. If she stops making an effort, so do you. If she no longer values your presence, you remove it. This is not about playing games, it's about self-respect. If she truly values you, she will notice your absence and correct her behavior. If she does not, then you have just saved yourself from further disrespect. Never fear walking away. A man who fears walking away is a man who does not fully understand his own worth. Women respect men who have standards. They may test those standards, they may push boundaries, but deep down, they are drawn to men who refuse to accept less than they deserve. So remember this, walking away is not losing. It is winning your self-respect. It is reclaiming your power. It is reminding yourself that no matter what happens, you will never be an option in someone else's life. You will always be the prize. The strength of walking away. A man of value never begs for a woman's attention. A man of strength never tolerates disrespect. A man of wisdom knows when to walk away. The moment you recognize that you are being treated as an afterthought, you have two choices: cling to false hope and lose your self-respect. Walk away with dignity and remind the world and yourself of your worth. A true man never forces what is not meant for him. He understands that walking away is not a loss. It is a declaration of power. Drop a comment below. I choose self-respect. Like, share, and subscribe if you're ready to become the man who never tolerates being an option. Stay strong. Stay focused. Stay in control.